Welcome back to the Unstuck movement. This platform was created for you to help you break the chains that are holding you back in your life. These are true testimonies of breakthrough. I'm your host, Rob Z. Today we have the incredible Elvira Hopper with us on the podcast. Elvira, I love to dive right in with a big question because great questions bring great breakthroughs in our life. And today we're talking about this mindset of being a victim. And sometimes I feel like, I feel like I know for sure, in order to identify that you're living as a victim, you have to see this and have that self-awareness in yourself. So how can someone identify in themselves if they are living with a victim mindset?
That is such a powerful question, Rob. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. This is an absolute joy and honor to be here with you. And yeah, for me, shifting from a victim mindset, which I call crap magnet zone, into a, empowered mindset, miracle magnet zone, that that was a point in my life where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like I literally had hit a rock bottom where I said to my higher power, I said, God, give me a way out of my hell. That's not drugs. That's not therapy. And no disrespect to anyone that takes drugs and therapy, but I had depression, anxiety, panic attacks, bipolar, marriage on the skids. My life was a hell. It was a total hell. And so I asked for a way out that wasn't drugs, that wasn't therapy, because I was a drug rep. I knew what they did to our bodies, and I didn't want to be dependent on them for the rest of my life. I'd also done 2 years of therapy, and it did work somewhat till it didn't. And I had done a whole bunch of other modalities as well, like Tony Robbins, landmark education. I'd been Catholic my whole life. None of those things worked anymore because I hit a rock bottom. 2 solid years, after 2 solid years of this dark mental health hell, I call it mental hell. I hit a point where I said, God, give me a way out. That's not drugs. That's not therapy. That's not any of those other things, or give me a way of killing myself. That was total surrender. You hear that a lot when people surrender at that point where they just don't want to live with themselves anymore. That for me was how I got out, because then I realized, okay, if you're blaming these people at work bullying you here, because I was a crap magnet, I was a total bully magnet. Okay. I got bullied all the time because I lived out of alignment. That was a telltale sign from the universe, get the hell out and do what you're meant to be doing. So I was being bullied here at work. I attracted other bullies here in my social life, and I was blaming them for 2 solid years, Rob. And then I realized, if this is happening in two different areas of my life, who's the common denominator?
Mm.
Me. And that shift of realizing, hey, it's me, right? Like I think Taylor Swift has a song around that too. It's me. That's what allowed me to take back my power. That's when God gave me all the teachings and tools that then became the Love Your Vibe transformation, this beautiful personal development solution, or we call it personal evolution solution. And so it was mindset shifts that allowed me to go from victim to empowered, from crap magnet to miracle magnet. So it was an awareness. It was what I was meant to go through, because God said, I'm not done with you yet. There's still more in you to do. And I had to hit that rock bottom in order to get it.
I love that so much. The surrender is where it happens, but it can take us such a long time to reach the place of surrender. This is such a great direction to head in, and I love this conversation already. So before we go any further, I just want to welcome everybody to the platform. The Unstuck movement is sponsored by the Connected Leaders Academy. Check out connectedleadersacademy.com. 400 entrepreneurs and leaders from all over the world for you to connect with. This is Elvira Hopper, a multi-award winning coach, speaker, healer, and podcaster who left a 27-year career in cancer research and pharma sales to pursue an authentic life. She now helps others find their true purpose and become miracle magnets. So you were talking about being a bully magnet. What causes someone? Because, bullying you hear about mainly in school, but bullying goes on. I
Mm.
mean, everybody knows this, into the workplace, and you can kind of carry it with you throughout your life. What makes somebody a bully magnet?
Oh, when you're a victim, you naturally attract bullies, because that's where you vibrate at. You vibrate at the level of, I don't love myself. I am bullyable. And therefore, guess what? You get bullied. But
Mhm.
when you do that inner work and you shift to a place where you love yourself, where you honor yourself, where you learn to love your vibe, that's when people stop bullying you. So when I realized that if I'm being bullied here and I'm being bullied here, who's the common denominator? Me. I said, I brought this bullying on with my mindset. I brought it on with my vibration. I'm going to undo it with my vibration, with my mindset. And that's
Mhm.
what God gave me all the ways where I was able to actually do that. And so it was me stopping bullying myself, to be honest, because I didn't love myself. I used to need outer validation for most of my life, Rob, up until that blessed breakdown and spiritual breakthrough. I used to need outer validation like I needed oxygen. Well, guess what? People that need outer validation have a vibe about them that's not very attractive, and
Mhm.
they get bullied. That was me for a long period of time, like up until my, mid to late 40s, right? So yes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and it's interesting too, the instant that, because whenever you are seeking outside validation, people are able to control you, and everything
Yes.
externally outside of you controls
Thank
you
you.
because you're always seeking for an answer outside of you. And
Thank you.
so there's
Exactly.
always something. This is I equate this like, if you're online and man, Instagram's great for this. They always have an ad for something that is like, I didn't need that thing 4 seconds ago. But that ad was so captivating that I need this new foot insole that's
Good
gonna help
marketing.
it's gonna help my feet, like, get all the toxins out while I walk, and it's like, I didn't even know that existed, and that wasn't even a thought of mine until this ad came on, right? So, marketing especially can keep us really trapped in that victim mentality
Mhm.
of, like, that's the consumer that we are, poised to be, right? We're set up, like,
Yeah.
as these consumers, and, constantly consuming means you can never consume
Yeah.
enough or not
Yes.
enough. I'm going to keep consuming because I need to fill the void, right?
Yes.
Um, what brought
Amen.
you? So as you started to come out of that, one of the hardest time of coming out of the thing is taking the first steps and implementing them into your life. What did you first start to implement that started to change
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
victim
that's a great
mindset?
question. That's a great, great question. So one of the first realizations I had, awareness, right? Awareness is power, is I realized if you're being bullied here and you're being bullied here and you're the common denominator and you brought this on, you finally get that you were the person. And then you decide that's not who I want to be. As soon as I made that decision, and then I started getting some other concepts that I can share if you want to hear them. As soon as I made that decision, those people stopped bullying me. Why? Because I stopped bullying myself.
Mm,
And I started raising my vibration, right? I was down here as a crap magnet. All of a sudden, I'm over here, and now I'm over here. And today I live up here, which is, like total miracle magnet zone. I live up here. I tell people if you live up in miracle magnet zone 90% of the time, your life is pretty damn good. And if you're in 10% crap magnet zone, that's just life, right? And it's your duty to process what's going on and then get back here. Well, Rob, I'll be honest with you. I've learned to do this for so many years now. I've been doing it for over 13 years as a coach and a healer that basically I live up here 98% of the time because the 2% of the time that I'm in crap magnet zone feels so crappy that I can process quickly and get back into my zone so that I'm not a crap magnet, so that I can continue to attract miracles of my heart's desires. Do you want to hear a really fun miracle I manifested this weekend?
sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I went to this event called the Tesla Medicine Show at the Redwood Theater in Toronto. Amazing place. And my friends invited me to be the MC. I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't even approve it, but they put out a press release and they said, and Elvira Hopper is our MC. I'm like, okay, thanks for asking me. But anyways, I was meant to be there and do that. And some incredible things happened that first night. And one of the people that were there, my new friend Rob, so Rob Fraboni, look him up. He is a world-class sound engineer. He is best friends with Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones. He has recorded some of the top bands on the planet,
Mm,
including the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Bonnie Raitt, yada, yada, yada. And this is a guy who heard me sing that night, and he said, "You're incredible." So that is just an example of being a miracle magnet. I manifested connecting with this amazing man who I adore, and he adores me. So we're now besties, right? And now I'm at a whole different level because my purpose is actually to serve at a very high level. And we'll go into that if you want to talk about it. But my husband and I were brought together. We were meant to stay together because we're co-creating something very high globally to serve the 1%, the people that he knows. So it's like, how crazy is that, right? But also it was effortless and it just felt so right. And it was like, okay, yeah, I am a miracle magnet. I've manifested, being the MC at this event and, blowing some people's minds in terms of my voice, right? Which I channel. Spirit gives me all the the words, the sounds that I make. I'm a jazz singer turned sacred sound healer. That's a miracle that happened later in my life. And that's just an example of a miracle that I literally just manifested. And I just feel so elevated right now that I could levitate off this chair. Like it just feels so good.
So there's so many questions I have in that, but I think one of the main ones is, so being a miracle magnet, what does that look like, right? It's a
Mm,
lofty term. It sounds
yeah,
amazing. What does it
yeah.
look like on a daily basis as because we all fall into the old
Crap
crap,
magnet.
right? It'll
Yeah.
still pop back up. So what does it look like to pop out of that so fast? Because we can get stuck in there for a while.
Yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
how do you manage that?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is, how are you feeling? When you're feeling like crap, guess what? Chances are you're in crap magnet zone. When you're blaming people, when you're feeling shame, when you're feeling, anger, not a good anger that, some anger is righteous, it moves you forward, but like an anger where it's like, and you're, feeling guilt or whatever, like you're just feeling like crap. That's crap magnet zone.
Mm,
When you decide, oh my gosh, like for example, that situation didn't happen to me. I'm not a victim. In other words, it actually happened for me because it opened my eyes to this, right? When you're able to make that mindset shift in your head and you were down here, but now it's like, oh, how can I be grateful for this, right?
mhm.
That's an example of shifting from crap magnet to miracle magnet, right? So now you're feeling good. Now, it's less painful for you, right? Now people are being nicer to you because you're at a higher vibration, right? So you're manifesting, good things as opposed to being down here where you just like detract people, like you push people away with your vibration when you're down here in crap magnet zone. Up here, you actually attract people. Why did Rob think I was fabulous? Am I a really great singer? I'm okay. But I think it's my vibration that attracted him to say, you're amazing, right? That's called being a miracle magnet.
When you learned about vibrations and when you talk about vibrations, can you go into a little bit more about what you mean by that?
Yeah. So basically, the where I learned it from primarily is Abraham Hicks. So if you just want to, Google Abraham Hicks, there's a lot of great, content out there, videos, books on Abraham Hicks, and the whole it's basically law of attraction, right? So law of attraction states that we attract what we are. Right. So if you think about the law of attraction being on a 0 to 10 scale, right? Um, where are you vibrating? Where are your thoughts vibrating? Where are your words vibrating? Where are your conversations vibrating? Where are your actions vibrating? Are they, at a low level? Are they at a high level? Are they somewhere in between? Right. So my intention is to go into my day and have all of my interactions happen in a high vibration, right? I like to say on a 0 to 10, between a 7 and a 9. That's miracle magnet zone. So that's where you're vibrating at a higher level. That's where you get good things. That's where you get clients. That's where you get, opportunities to MC. That's where you get told that you're, a great singer. Like all the good stuff you do want happens between a 7 and a 9, right? That's
Mhm.
where joy lives and love and peace and purpose and freedom and authenticity and courage and laughter and all the good stuff, right? That's what happens between a 7 and a 9. That's miracle magnet zone. But if you're in crab magnet zone, maybe like a 2 or a 3, right? What happens down there? Not much good stuff, right? There's pain, there's guilt, there's shame, there's addictions, there's all sorts of stuff. And if you go to 0, that's where you actually might want to end your life. That's like total despair, right? And I've been there quite a few times, by the way. So that's 0 to 10, right? And people say, so why can't you live at a 10? I said, well, a 10 is like an orgasm. You can't live there all the time, right? But if you live between a 7 and a 9, your life is pretty darn good. So that's a little bit about the whole vibrational scale and how that works. Does that make sense,
So,
Rob?
yeah, it makes total sense. I don't know if you ever studied David Hawkins and his work, Dr.
Mhm.
David
Oh
Hawkins.
my God, yes, I'm so sorry. I forgot to quote him. So David Hawking's Power versus Force is a great
Mhm.
book where you learn about our beingness actually is measured on scientific equipment, right? And Abraham Hicks and David Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, are the ones that taught me that. And I also got other pieces downloaded to me as well from Spirit. But yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned him. I I forgot. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah, that's where I had learned a lot about that. And I'm just curious. So we have to jump into a 60-second commercial for the sponsor that makes this show possible. When we come back, though, I want to find out what daily habits you put in place, what practical things you do to keep yourself from a 7 to 9 in that miracle magnet mode. We'll talk about that in 60 seconds.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JAESCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Elvira, what daily things do you put into your life that set you on the path to being, a 7 to 9 in that miracle magnet place?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have a team of people that facilitate this work, right? So I was given a system at rock bottom. It saved my life, my sanity, my marriage, helped me to achieve my virtual every dream, including becoming a professional jazz artist at the age of 51. What I was told I couldn't do as a child, I did it at 40 years later at 51. So we talk about the whole idea of when you are so let me just explain a little bit about the miracle magnet movement. So when this whole system was gifted to me divinely, I was told, Elvira, it's not just for you, it's for you to share with the world. And I'm like, how the heck do I do that? Well, when COVID hit, Rob, two amazing women stepped forward, Eleanor Hayward and Jennifer Hawkins, and they said, Elvira, we're out of work. One's a hairdresser, one's a massage therapist. We don't know when we're going to work again. Your system saved our lives too, and we want to share it with the world. And we're going to create a program to do that. And I started crying. I was like, oh my God, that's how it gets shared with the world, not through me, through them. So now they've trained all the people that are sharing this with the world. I just sit back and I watch them go. They're amazing people. They even added their own pieces to this modality so that it's even better. And so now virtually every person that goes through our 6-month program wants to become a facilitator of this work. But what's really cool is that everybody that wants to become a facilitator wants to facilitate my work, but they also want to facilitate their own transformations on my platform. So I have a beautiful platform that helps us to do that because I'm the founder of the Miracle Magnet Movement. Shout out to A.G. Marishta. He was my coach who actually named it the Miracle Magnet Movement. And this movement states that all modalities matter. Whatever keeps you vibrating at a high level between a 7 and a 9 with freedom and love and joy and authenticity and courage, whatever gets you there is what you need to practice. Here's how I explain it, Rob. There's over 8 billion people on the planet, and there's over 8 billion ways to love your vibe and be a miracle magnet. Every person has their own miracle mix, right? So for me, what's in my miracle mix? Singing, making jewelry, playing sound bowls, meditating, writing, dancing, having amazing conversations like this with people. These are the things that keep me vibrating at a high level of joy and love and peace and purpose and freedom and authenticity and courage. And the reason I mentioned those is because they're part of a program that I'm about to launch, called the program itself is the musician's legacy, helping heart-centered musicians to heal the world with their music and not die with their real music still in them, like my father did. My father could sing like Pavarotti, but he was in a victim mindset his whole life. He wasn't able to do anything with his music. I broke that generational trauma, and I am doing something with my voice. I am making the world better with my music. So I'm creating this beautiful container so that people can join and help humanity heal with music, with sound. And so we all have a different way of living there. Oh, and Embody came through. A few days after Tina Turner died, she showed me that I have to share this program, Embody, 7 sacred states that I've been able to embody, and I need to share those with the world. So they're part of my musician's legacy program, as well as the Love Your Vibe Miracle Mindset. So these are 2 very powerful sets of teachings that these people are going to be a part of, and they get to raise their vibration, because there's a lot of crap magnet musicians on the planet, unfortunately, Rob, and I want to help them to become miracle magnet musicians, because the world needs their music. And if they learn how to get out of their own effing way, effing stands for fear and ego, then they can actually serve the world with their music. So that's just one application. And I have a beautiful team that is growing, that is sharing these teachings and tools and putting it through their own filter and making these teachings and tools livable, because they've also got their own teachings and tools that they're sharing on my platform. And so, yeah, it's just a beautiful way of doing the inner work, especially if you're a heart-centered human and you haven't been served by the more in-your-face approaches like I talked about earlier, like Tony Robbins' landmark education. God bless, but it's very toxic masculine energy. Ours is a more gentle rain soaks approach if you've been traumatized, if you've ever been a victim. And I feel it's the best way of doing our inner work if we're a heart-centered human. So that's what my team is facilitating in the world. And I do my one-on-one with people, but my team is doing it very affordably in these small groups. So yeah.
It's really special to see somebody find their thing, or maybe, some people, they've always known what their thing is, but they've never had the courage to do it, or they've never had,
Yeah.
they never felt like they had the permission to do it. Right.
Yeah.
To see somebody step into that is amazing. And to watch them own that thing that they've always wanted to be able to do, and they feel like they're at a safe enough place, or a confident enough place in themselves that they can start being that human
Yeah.
that's on the inside. That is
Yeah.
so, that's
Oh,
everything for
it's
somebody.
everything. It's everything. Oh my God. And Rob, that's exactly what happens in our small containers. The Love Your Vibe transformation is a 6-month program where my leaders take them through these teachings and tools that were created so beautifully by Eleanor and Jennifer. I could have never done that. God bless them for doing that. And basically we learn to peel off the layers of what we're not, the old patterns, the old conditioning, the old traumas, the things that we're not, so that bright, shiny us gets to show up and shine and connect to our higher purpose, our reason why we were brought here. That's what these containers are about. Is that not cool?
I love it. So we see the Elvira of today. Who was the old Elvira? Like, what caused this to happen to you?
Yeah. Well, I think I've alluded to it. She was a crap magnet, right? If I can I tell you a little bit about my origin story about how
Yeah,
I
that's what
came?
I want to know. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. So my origin story is this. I'm 11 years old and I'm sitting in this audience, and it's a very beautiful jazzy cabaret show going on, and kids were not allowed to go to this thing, but I was the only kid there. Why was I there? Well, my father worked in the restaurant downstairs. And was I there because he had to stick me somewhere for the night? He was babysitting me because he had to work? Or was I there because I loved singing and dancing since I leapt out of the womb? My mom said you could sing and dance before you could walk and talk. So did I insist on going to this show that was very sexy, very cabaret? Even at 11 years old, did I insist on going to it? Or did my dad stick me there? I don't know which one it was. It was one of those two. But here I am. I'm there at this show. And these women, these goddesses are on stage singing and dancing, and they're so beautiful. Their hair, their makeup, their clothes. And I'm a fat little Italian kid sitting in the audience. We came from Italy to Canada when I was 5, and I was a skinny little kid. But because my parents were not very happy with their decision, they fought all the time. And I was the sensitive, artistic child, and I ate my emotions. So I turned into this rotund little 11-year-old. It's important to the story that I tell you this. So then afterwards, my dad comes and gets me when the show's over, and he sees the stars in my eyes. And he goes, "Would you like to meet them backstage?" And I felt like I was meeting the queens of the world because I wanted to be them, obviously, right? So my dad takes me backstage, and he just wanted to impress his little daughter and his not so little daughter. Remember what I look like, right? So, anyways, he brings me backstage, and he goes, "Ladies, this is my daughter Elvira." And these women look at me, and they're like, "Joe, this is your daughter. She's so beautiful." And I'm thinking, I'm beautiful? I'm a fat little Italian kid. You're beautiful for telling me that I'm beautiful. And Rob, I knew these women saw me. I felt seen for the first time in my life because at home, I was just the annoying kid that was always, dancing and singing and being a nuisance. But these women, they actually could see into my soul. I knew that I was one of them, just a few years behind. They were probably in their 20s and 30s. I was 11, right? So I knew that I wanted to be one of them, right? So I walk away with my dad, and I knew that I wanted to be one of them. Well, I say to my dad, "Daddy, I want to be one of them when I grow up." Well, remember what I said about my dad? He could sing like Pavarotti, but never did anything with his voice because his parents told him that good men are not on stages singing.
Hmm.
Good men are good husbands and fathers and providers. His
Mhm.
sister, who's a few years older than him, he got to see her journey. She was on Italian world-class opera stages, but when she got married, her parents told her, "Hang up your opera gown, put on an apron, because you can't step foot on another stage ever again."
Hmm.
So both my father and my aunt, they had to stay small in the box for their parents' belief system that good people are not on stages. So when I walk away with my dad and I say, "Daddy, I want to be one of them when I grow up," Rob, guess what he tells me?
He tells you that you should not do that.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's how he said it. "Elvira, you can't be one of those women because those women are sluts."
Hmm.
And that was it. I wasn't
Well,
allowed to be me
case
anymore.
closed.
Rob. Yeah. I had to stay in the box just like he did to please his parents. And I had to please them as well, my father and my mother. So I said, "Okay, Daddy, I'm not allowed to be who I want to be. Who do you need me to be so you will love me?" And that's when people pleasing started. That's when imposterhood started. That's when living out of alignment started. That's when I chose not one, but two solid healthcare careers that made me a lot of money and gave me a lot of respect in society. But my heart and my soul were dry.
Hmm.
By the way, that's the name of my first jazz band, Heart and Soul. So that's how I went through life. I got bullied. I had depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all telltale sign, bullied as an adult, all telltale signs that you're living out of alignment. This is what the universe does. It tries to wake us up by not feeling comfortable. That's not who I was. I wasn't a cancer researcher. I wasn't an award-winning big pharma rep. I was an artist. I was a healer. I was here to make humanity better in my own unique way. And so I had to go through, 27 years, two so-called rock star careers that pleased my parents, that they approved of, right? And basically, yeah, I figured out real fast. I needed to be a good little Italian Catholic girl, get good grades, get a good career, get a good husband, and give them some grandchildren. Well, Rob, I checked off all those boxes. And my last 2 years of corporate, I wanted to die. So that was the wake up call that the universe had to hit me over the head with the frying pan to get the hell out of this inauthentic life to live my truth. And I did it through a breakdown, total surrender, spiritual breakthrough. And today I am living my every dream. My marriage went from hell on wheels to heaven on earth. No more depression, anxiety, panic attacks, bipolar. And I got to become a now award winning jazz artist at the age of 51. I am proof that it is never too late and you are never too old to live the life of your dreams, not your parents' dreams, and make the world a better place.
Really, I love that so much. You know, I could give an example. My mom and my stepdad both have done this later in life, where my stepdad owned a family photography store for most of his life. And a couple of years ago got his captain's license. We live in Pennsylvania. He got his captain's license, and now he charters boats in the Bahamas, Key West,
Wow.
Belize. Did I say
Oh
St.
my
Thomas?
God.
Yeah, all over the place. And my mom, who's always loved painting and redoing furniture, but she worked for a orthodontic office. She's like an orthodontic tech. She started her own painting business. It's called
Wow.
She Paints, and she does painting now. And in her 60s,
Right?
found the thing that has given her like a
Exactly.
real purpose and calling, and it's really cool to see. So, like you said, it's never too late. Uh,
It's never
and
too late.
and so I'm curious. This is a question I've been asking myself and others lately, and I want to ask you this question. There's two different ways of thinking about things. Number one is everything happens for a reason, or number two is God works everything for good. And I've
Mm.
been going back and forth between those two. I'm curious, what do you think? Does everything happen for a reason,
Oh
or does
my God.
God
I
work
believe
everything for
both.
good?
I believe both. I know that God, spirit, source, universe, whatever you believe in, our system is non-denominational. God bless people that have religion. If it helps them to live as miracle magnets, all the power to you. For me, at rock bottom, religion didn't save my life. So that's why I'm spiritual today, right? And so I do believe that there is a higher power that takes care of all of us. And even if things are crappy, it's what's meant to happen to get you over to where you're supposed to be. So you only grow, like diamonds are made under pressure, right? And we only grow when we have difficult circumstances. So I believe that God, whatever you believe in, brings you those things so that you can evolve to be the person you're meant to be in order to accomplish your mission in this lifetime. Because nobody was brought here by accident, Rob. God doesn't make junk. We're all here for a reason. And Oprah Winfrey says it really well when she says, our purpose is to connect with our purpose and to humbly serve the world with it. And so we need to become those people in order to accomplish our mission, our purpose, our why in this lifetime. Does that
Yeah.
answer your question?
Yeah, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're made like with a very distinct purpose for our lives, and helping people find that is everything. And getting this is how I've perceived it. Getting through the mess, whatever it is, it becomes the message that moves you forward.
Yes.
The curse in your life becomes the gift, and that
Yes.
seems to be okay. So I still wrestle with: are we given a problem in our life before we even are born that we're going to have to go through, or does free will, these problems emerge and we fall into them? But that problem, whatever that major thing is for you, as
Yeah.
you find your way through it, and you have to find your way through it to experience the
Yeah.
message, which is
Yeah.
the miracle that comes out of it, right? To live in that miracle life, we
Absolutely.
have to get through that mess. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
order
It's
to
the
get through that
hero's
mess,
journey, right? It's the hero's
right,
journey. Yeah.
the hero's
Yeah.
journey, yeah. You have to
Yeah.
get through that mess, and through that mess, that's where you're serving people, right? And the message is being of service from there on out, but you can't do this thing alone, which is why
Yeah.
I'm loving hearing what you do. And I feel the same exact way. Whether I'm working with somebody in business, or it's just a personal thing, or if it's just somebody that is looking for advice, or a friend that I'm just talking with, like, how can I be a blessing to this person in this situation?
Mhm.
How can I show up for them right now? Because whenever you get out of your own way, that's where the miracles happen,
Yeah.
because you're not really looking for them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking for a miracle from me when I'm serving somebody else, but
Yeah.
my selflessness, that's where the miracles come from, because you really
Yeah.
show up for somebody, and it helps you to show up in such a spirit-filled way
Yeah.
that amazing things happen from that. And that's
Right?
I'm just thinking that right now on the spot, so it's not a fully
Yeah.
fleshed out thought, but that seems to be. I used to be
Beautiful.
very just my own journey, and just to relate to what you're saying, like, I was very self-centered and very stuck in my own muck, my own nonsense, my own
Yeah.
crap, right? I guess
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
muck, the crap. When you're stuck
Yeah.
in your own crap, you can't see outside of that.
Yeah.
And once you start being of service to other people, that's where it all started to change for me. And I was like, I can't believe like this is true. Like I have to help people so I can get better. I never thought that was actually the way it was going to work, but it
Funny,
would make
eh?
sense that that's how, if we're all humans, we all have to
We're
help one
here.
another. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
we're here to serve each other. That's why God brought us all here. We all have a unique purpose, and our purpose is to connect with our purpose and humbly serve the world with it. We are serving with our purpose humbly yet fiercely. This isn't about playing small when you're humble. This is about being fierce, but it's about realizing your purpose isn't about you. Your purpose is about serving the world. And that's why I want to bring musicians together, people that are so full of themselves with ego and not good enough, or I'm all that in a bag of chips, right? We call that the nasty contrast game of ego. I'm not good enough, or I'm all that in a bag of chips. Well, when you shift to a place of, and that's ego, right? Edging God out. But when you shift to a place of miracle magnet zone where you're serving with your gifts, and in my case, musicians, right? They get to serve with their gifts and they separate from their ego, because that's what happened to me at rock bottom. I was able to separate from my ego. I could see my ego. I just don't live from my ego. That's what allowed me to become professional at 51. And I'm now an award-winning jazz artist. I've sung for Oprah Winfrey's man, Stedman Graham. Google his name and mine. You'll see me singing to him. It's hilarious. And so all sorts of miracles find you, even if you do your thing later in life, because it's your thing to do. It's how you get to serve humanity. So God's going to give you the opportunity to do it. Why did I meet Rob Forboni this past weekend? Best friends with Keith Richards, because this musician's legacy is supposed to serve at a higher level. And now I have some incredible people backing me up that will understand what I'm doing. And it's going to get to more and more people. You see, that's why I got this miracle this past weekend. I truly believe is because of this. So makes sense.
Amen. You're prepared for it, right? You've been prepared. The preparation is there. You put the work in. It's time to go.
Right. It's
time to make it happen. I love it. Elvira, this is wonderful. And thank you so much. So I want to mention, as you can see if you're listening, you can't see it, but if you can see the website below, elvirahopper.com/linktree. That's where you can find everything about you. Now you have Inboxpiration starting. It's called Fab Friday. They can find that at elvirahopper.com/inbox. They can get weekly inspiration and information in their inbox from you, and they can find that on your link tree. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation. Anything you want to leave the audience with before we sign off?
Oh, I just want to cry, Rob. You're an amazing, amazing host, because you asked some powerful questions, and I can tell you were so spirit-led. And I just want to say, if anybody's struggling right now and wants to be a miracle magnet, I just want to say that you can, no matter how old you are. Can I finish with a little song, actually, Rob?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So this is, I have a few little cheesy jingles, but it explains what it is that I do. Okay. Here's one that came through recently. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. It's never too late, and you're never too old to be happy, healthy, and wealthy and bold. You've got to be a miracle magnet. Be a miracle magnet. Do those things that you were brought here to do, and be a miracle magnet. True. Boop-boop-be-doo. Yeah.
I love it. I come from the world of radio, so I'm a sucker for a good jingle. I love it. That's wonderful.
A good jingle, right?
Oh, cool. Elvira, thank you so much for being a part of the Unstuck movement.